Okay, we're in section 33 of the notes. We just covered the lecture material. Again, the hope is that you understand what's been presented to you, and particularly what we said about the parallel and perpendicular lines. All right, so we give you pictures, and the pictures that we give you hopefully will lead credence to what we're saying the test is for parallel lines, and that is they have equal slopes. And again, we covered this picture in lecture portion. And for perpendicular lines, a little more difficult, but we do give you a picture. And again, the hope is that we've convinced you that the relationship between the slopes, between perpendicular lines, is that M1 times M2 is equal to -1. Now, this is going to be true for non-vertical, non-horizontal lines. But bottom line is, let's not worry about the subtleties of this. Let's just use these two tests over here. So test number one, parallel lines are parallel if their slopes are equal. Perpendicular lines are perpendicular if the product of slopes is equal to -1, a negative reciprocal, so to speak. So what we're going to do now is go to the examples, and we're going to see how the lecture material relates to the examples. The examples depend on having a past and being able to find the equation of a line, though. If you don't have that past, this is going to seem very strange to you. This is why you need to go in sequence, and we provide the sequence for you. For example, to get to 33, make sure you've mastered 32. So let me switch screens, and I'm going to go to the examples. Just give me a second to do so. Okay, so the deal over here is, we're just going to go through the problems one by one, and they're related to the lecture, but they're also related to the past. So for example, number one, just says find the slope of the line. There's many ways to do it. The one way I want to suggest to do it, an easy way, again, you decide if it's easy for you, is to solve this equation for y. And if you can do that and get in the form y equals mx plus b, you can read the slope directly from that. Let's see if we can do that. I'll pull it on the side, and I'll write the equation down again, 3y plus 6x equals -7. And again, it's a prior scale. What are we going to do? Subtract 6x from both sides. And what do you get? You get 3y is equal to -6x minus 7. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide both sides by the variable, in this case, y's coefficient. And what do you get? You get something pretty easy. You get y equals, well, -6 divided by 3 is -2. And then -7/3. All right, so what's the slope? The slope is -2. All right, let's check the key. Make sure they wrote that down for us. And I do see it, -2. There's other ways to do it. And someone says, I don't understand what those other ways are. You could get 2 points if you like, and then get the slope that way by using the slope formula. All right, let's see the next one. And next one says, find the slope of the line perpendicular to. Well, again, that's a more difficult sentence, but it really relies on the understanding is, do you know the slope of this line? So let's put this over here. And this is 3x plus 6y is equal to 1. I'm going to solve for y. And what do you get? And pull this over a little bit. We'll get to their question later. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And what do you get there? Well, you get 6y equals -3x plus 1. Then I'm going to divide both sides by y's numerical coefficient, which is 6. That's like dividing every term by 6. And what do you get? Y equals, well, -3 divided by 6 is -1/2 x plus 1/6. So the slope of this line here is -1/2. They didn't ask for that, though. What did they ask for? Let's go back and read it. They want the slope of the line that's perpendicular to that one. So the perpendicular slope, I'll write this over here, is going to be the negative reciprocal. So negative reciprocal. Well, what's a reciprocal of -1/2? It's -2/1. What does this give me? The number 2. You may want to check this, indicating that the slope m times its perpendicular slope would equal -1. Let's check that out. So -1/2, that's m. What's m perpendicular? 2. If you multiply that out, what do you get? -2/2, which of course is -1. So I'm pretty convinced that this should be the answer listed in the answer key. Unless, of course, they made some awful mistake. Let's take a look and see if we got it right. And this is number 2. What did they say? Yep, m perpendicular is 2. Let's keep going. Let's go to number 3. And number 3 says, find the slope of the line that's parallel. Oh, let's put that down then. Again, if you can read this and you know the slope of this line, I'll write this down over here. M is minus 7. That's fine. But let's say you didn't know that by looking at it. What you could do is solve for y again. Let me write that down for you. Y minus 1 equals minus 7x minus 14. What I do now, I would add 1 to both sides. And what do you get? You get y equals minus 7x minus 13. What's the slope of this line? Minus 7. Again, it's not going to change. Now, what's their question though? Find the slope of a parallel line. Well, if these lines are parallel, they have to have equal slope. So the parallel line would have to be minus 7. That symbol over there means parallel. Let me point out what I mean with that. When I put this down, it's not the number 11. I'm just saying parallel. Just like when I did this over here, this symbol over here means, let me show you what I mean by that. This symbol means perpendicular. It's my symbol for perpendicular. That's my symbol for parallel. Well, what's the slope of a parallel line in this case over here? Again, we're doing problem number 3. It has to be equal, so it's minus 7. All right, put a box in that. I'll get my red thing out, and I'll just simply check it off. All right, let's go to the next one, number 4. And number 4 says, find the slope of a line that's perpendicular to a line whose equation is x equals minus 1. Well, there's a problem with this one. And what I want to claim over here, the problem is I can't really write down, y equals mx plus b for this problem over here. All right, so that's not going to be possible. So what I would like to do is I would like to graph it. And you should be able to graph. This is your past. And I'm graphing this line here. And then I'll get back to their question later. How do I graph that line? Well, I got to make a table of values. Let me do this in green. X and y. X is minus 1. Y can be any number in the universe because it doesn't depend on y. And x is minus 1. And I'll put another number down for y. It could be 1. Why do I pick those numbers? It's simple. So minus 1, 0. That's right there. And minus 1, 1. And that's right there. I put this line in. And this line looks like this over here. All right. Now that's a vertical line. So what's their question? They want to know the slope of a line that's perpendicular. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a perpendicular line in anywhere I like, by the way. I'll do it over here. And what's that? Horizontal line. And you should know a horizontal line has slope 0. There is no rise on it. So the rise is 0. The run is, whatever number you want, except 0. Bottom line, slope is 0. So what I want to do is I want to write my answer down. I'm going to say M, perpendicular in this case is 0. I'll put a box on it. And I'm going to look at the key. And why do I look at the key? I want to make sure that I'm getting the right answer. And they're listing it. They're saying the slope is 0. All right, let's put this one down. This one's another question, but now there's 2 lines. So what am I going to do with the 2 lines? One line at a time. I'll call this line number 1. Line 1. What's the slope of line 1? It's going to be minus 4. I'm going to call this line 2. And what's its slope? Well, I'm going to call it M2. Well, just by inspection, this is y equals m equals b. It's 4. Now, what's your question? Are they parallel? Well, if they were parallel, their slopes would have to be equal. M1 does not equal M2. So I'm going to say no. What am I going to do? Check the key and verify that that's correct. All right, I realize for some students, and I know I say this a lot during the semester, it goes too quick for them. All right, they say, I can't follow, I can't write. And that's a problem. It is a problem. It's going to be a problem not only in this class, but in other classes to follow. So what's the advantage here? You could just simply say to yourself, you know what? Let me just listen, pay attention. Maybe I'll catch on to some of the stuff you're saying, but not everything. And then what you need to do is go back. And what do you go back to do? Well, I want to point out, you go back and watch the mini embedded videos, or you rewatch the lecture in its entirety. The lectures, as you probably know by now, are being published at the end of the week. You can watch the entire lecture over again. What's the advantage of watching lecture off schedule? You can actually pause it. You can rewind it. You can slow it down. You can speed it up. All right? All right, let's keep going. Let's go to number 6 now. And again, it's more difficult. All right, I'll tell you why it's more difficult. It's actually, the sentence appears to be longer. But here's what they say, and I'm going to outline this for you. They say there's a line that contains these 2 points over here. And there's a line that contains these points over here. So let me go through one line at a time. I'm going to do line number 1. I'm going to do slope of line number 1. I need to know the slope formula. That's your past. Without the past, you can't compute slope. What's the slope of line number 1? Well, it's going to be the change in y, which can be 9 minus a minus 3, which is plus 3, over 0 minus 2. What do you get there? 9 plus 3 is 12. On the bottom, you get minus 2. So this guy's slope is minus 6. I'm going to put down line number 2 now. Right? This is M2. What's the slope of M2? Well, I'm looking at the points, and what's going to be 2, this is the change in y's, minus a minus 4. That's plus 4, over minus 7, minus a minus 5, that's plus 5. 2 plus 4 is 6, minus 7 plus 5 is minus 2. What do you get over there? Minus 3. Now, what's our question? Are the two lines parallel? The answer is no. And why is that? M1, write this over here for you. M1 does not equal M2. So it's no. Check your key, and you got it. All right. Let's go to number 7, a little more complicated, but I'm still going to go through it. What does it want you to do? Find an equation of a line. Well, I think by now, at least you've been paying somewhat of attention. You know my equation of lines. I like to write this one down over here. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. They want me to find an equation of a line. I know that much. Find an equation of a line. Now, what do we need to do that? We need to, maybe I went too far in that. Find the equation of a line. So this is what the equation of a line would look like. What do I need? I need a point, and they gave me a point on that line. So I'm going to write that down now. And what do you get? Y, whoops, sorry about that. Y minus y1. Well, what's y1? Well, they've only given me 1 point. So I'm going to say it's 5 equals, I don't know m yet, but they're probably going to give it to me. And then what I get? X minus 3. I'm very close. So what did I get? I got part of the equation line. Now what I got to do is I got to realize it's parallel. Right? This is really important when you're reading it. It's whoops, sorry about that. It's parallel to this line. So what I need to do is find out the equation of this line in the form I like, which is y equals mx plus b. Looks pretty easy. Let me write that down for you. Whoops. And that would be y equals minus 2x minus 3. All right. Now, again, it's really important they're talking parallel. They're talking parallel. If they're parallel, their slopes, and this is this guy's slope, must be equal. So what's this guy's slope over here? It has to be minus 2. So let's write this over here. So y minus 5. Again, if they're parallel, the slopes are equal. Minus 2, x minus 3. I'm going to put a box in that indicating that's a fine answer. I realize in WebAssign sometimes says they want you to solve for y. Let me go through that with you. And if you did that, you would get y minus 5 equals minus 2x plus 6. What I'm going to do now is add 5 to both sides. Don't feel obligated to do this unless WebAssign is asking you to do it. And what do you have there? Y equals minus 2x plus 11. This is a fine answer. Let's say you want to write in standard form. What would that look like? Well, I'm going to write that down for you as well. But again, don't feel obligated to do so. That would be 2x plus y is equal to 11. Every single box I put down is the same answer. Let's go to the answer key though, and let's see what they have written down. All right, I want to be careful about it because sometimes I make mistakes. Y minus 5 minus 2x minus 3. They also put this one down. Y equals minus 2x plus 11. They didn't put this one down, but you can if you like. No different than the other ones. All right, let's go to number 8. And number 8 says find an equation of a line. Well, it's really the same thing. Find an equation of a line. And I know what that looks like. What does the equation of a line look like? Well, I'm going to write it down for you. It looks like this. It looks like y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Now, what do I need? I need a point, and they gave me a point. What point did they give me? I want to point it out to you. They've given me this point over here. So I'm going to write that down now. What do I get? Y, whoops, I did that again. Y minus 3 m. I don't know that yet, but I'll read further. X minus 4. Now, again, let me repeat this. Mistakes do happen. That's why we give you a key. We'll look at the key when we're done. Now, what did they say? They say it's perpendicular. All right, perpendicular. That the line that we're going to put down is perpendicular to this line. So what I have to do is I got to solve this line for y. And let's go through that, right? So I'm going to write that on the side for you. And that's going to be 3x minus 4y equals 20. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And what would you get there? You would get minus 4y equals minus 3x plus 20. And then I'm going to divide both sides by minus 4. And what would you get? You would get y equals 3/4 of an x minus 5. So I know the slope of this line over here, and this is the perpendicular line, by the way. And what is it? It's 3/4. All right. So the question is, what do they want to get? They want to get m, and m has to be the opposite of that perpendicular line's reciprocal. And what is it going to be? 4/3. And what do you over there? Minus 4/3. All right, let me test it out. And what I'm testing out is, does m times m perpendicular? Well, let's write this down. 3, whoops, made a mistake already. Minus 4/3. That's m times m perpendicular, which is 3/4. And that does equal minus 1. And that's our test. All right, you get minus 12 over 12, which is minus 1. So I know m now. Let me go back up here, get my eraser out. I'm going to erase this up here. And I'm going to put the slope down now. What's slope? Minus, whoops, sorry about that. Let's go back to black ink. Minus 4/3. And this is a fine answer. All right. I also want to point out for the students that want to solve this for y, you can do that. All right, let me go through that with you for the students that want to see that. And I'll put this on the side for you. All right. So it's going to be y minus 3 equals minus 4/3 x minus 4. So it's y minus 3 minus 4/3 of an x plus 16/3. Right, a little complicated. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I know that seems strange to you, but we're going to do that. So you're going to get y equals minus 4/3 of an x, and 16/3 plus 3/3 is going to be 25/3. If you're struggling with arithmetic, you really want to master that skill. And so how'd you do that? 3 is the same thing as 9/3, and 9/3 plus 16/3 is 25/3. So this is that other form that students like. Let me put another form down for you. Multiply both sides by 3. That'll be 3y minus 4x plus 25. I'm going to add 4x to both sides, and you get 4x plus 3y is equal to 25. So I'm going to say all the 3 boxes there are the same. Let me go to my key, though. Let's take a look at it, see if we got the answers down. And what I mean by that is, do I have this answer down? Whoops, sorry about that. Y minus 3 minus 4/3 x minus 4. The other answer, I'll just go over it, and I'm looking at it, and that's y equals minus 4/3 x plus 25/3. They don't have this one down, but you know what? You can put that one down. I wouldn't mind having that one down either. All right, put all 3 down if you like. Here's the deal, though. Put the one down that you like. If it's web assigned, put down the one they're asking for. All right, let's take a look at number 9. And number 9 says, find the equation of the line. It's really the same story over and over again. It's very repetitious. So let's write this down. What's the equation of a line? Well, again, I need to put that down first. I need the equation of a line first. All right, I'll put it down for you. And that's going to be y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And they give me the point. And I want to point out where that is. It's right here. So I'm going to write that down for you. What are you going to get? Well, you're going to get y minus y1, in this case it's going to be 2, equals, I don't know m yet, I haven't read that far. And what are you going to get up there? X minus a minus 1 is plus 1. All right, let's keep reading it. And what do they say? They say it's perpendicular. to this guy. So let's write this down, and we get 3y plus 6x equals minus 7. Some students are faster at this than others. Some students take their time to do it. Whatever you're comfortable doing. Now, this is not a speed contest, nor are we writing exams for their speed contest. I'm going to solve for y, and I'll do that by simply writing down 3y. I'll subtract 6x. In this case, I didn't write it down because I think I'm getting a little better at this. And next thing I'm going to do is divide through by 3. And what would you get? Y equals minus 2x. Let's see, minus 7/3, right? So this is the perpendicular line. I'll write this over here is minus 2. I want to find out what m is, though. What's m? It's the negative reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of minus 2? Minus 1/2. What does this give you? 1/2. You can test this by writing down m times m perpendicular and a better equal minus 1. Well, what's m? 1/2. I'll write this over here for you. And what's m perpendicular? Minus 2. What does this give us? Minus 2 over 2, which is minus 1. Works out beautifully. So what I'm going to do now, go back to my m and put it down. So what's the m? I'll erase this over here. And the m is 1/2. Whoops, let's go back to black ink. I'll put a box in this indicating it's done. Again, some students want to solve this. Let's go through that. Y minus 2 equals 1/2 x plus 1/2. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And again, I think it's a good idea to practice arithmetic. People do make mistakes, but I'm going to add 2. That's 4 halves. That'll be 5 halves. This is a fine answer. If I multiply both sides by 2, I would get 2y is equal to x plus 5. And if I were to solve that for the constant, I'd have minus x plus 2y is equal to 5. No, you're not obligated to do this. I'm going to multiply both sides by minus 1. What do you get? X minus 2y is equal to minus 5. All these answers are the same. Let's look at the answer key, though. See if we got it right. Mistakes happen. Y minus 2, 1/2, x plus 1. Let's see if we got this one right. Y, 1/2 x plus 5 halves. They didn't write this one down, but you know what? No big deal. We don't need to write that one down. All right, let's go to page 3 now. And again, I know I realize I say I'm very repetitious sometimes. Even the problem sets tend to be kind of repetitious. But the deal is you've got to be repetitious. You've got to put that time and effort in. And we do give homework over here. Now, before you get to the homework, make sure you understand what's been presented to you, including the past. You might have to go back and review the past too. All right. Okay. So this one, it's really the same question over and over again. I'm hoping there's a little variance on this one over here, but they want me to find an equation of a line containing this point over here, right? And perpendicular to this graph over here, one step at a time. What's equation of a line look like? It looks like this over here. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And I think I can proceed along what we've done so far. And what's going to be y plus 3. I'm using that point. I don't know the m yet. And then what do you get? X plus 2. I've got troubles, though. I'll tell you what my troubles are. My troubles is, I'm looking at this guy over here, and it's not written in proper form. And if I wrote in proper form, what would I get? I would get y equals no x plus 1. I still have a problem. Although I know this guy's slope is 0, what's the perpendicular slope going to be? The negative reciprocal. I can't take the reciprocal of 0. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to say, this isn't working out for me. Not working. So what I'm going to do when things don't work for me, I'm going to graph it. All right. And see if I can figure out what they want me to give it. One step at a time. I'm going to plot the point first. What's the point? Minus 2, minus 3. That's that point. What else am I going to do? I'm going to graph the line. What line? Y equals 1. What does y equal 1 look like? I put this down. It looks like this. This is y equals 1. Goes on forever. What do I know? The other line is perpendicular to this line over here. Perpendicular. Do I know the equation of this line? I do. It's a vertical line. And what's the equation of a vertical line? X equals, what does X equal? -2. Let's go to my answer key, see if we got it right. I'm looking at the key and we got that one right. All right, let me repeat this about homework. Right, this is what I always say, the weak link, the missing link, so to speak. The missing link in most people's education is the level of engagement they have in that. It requires a tremendous amount of work, right? And by when I say a tremendous amount of work, really so much work that really goes back to, the first day you were in school. How engaged were you? Were you reading? Were you writing? Were you participating actively in your education? And if you were, that builds. It creates a great foundation. You get to move forward. But here's the deal. If you haven't done that in the past, you need to start at some point. What do you start doing? Start doing homework. The questions that follow are going to be relatively simple questions, but you need to practice it. You need to understand how these problems are written, how the answers look. Practice, practice, practice. All right. What do I put down? I put a question down. I put answers down for you. At the end of the week, I'll be publishing a lecture of me doing these problems at the whiteboard. If you need to watch it, you may not need to watch it, but let's say you can't do problem number 7. Maybe go to the video at the end of the week and watch me do problem number 7. They'll be published. All right. So thank you for your attention. Time to get to work. All right. I'll see you next time.